yeah, so let's take a look into the line that I took here. Spoilers ahead, it's my bust out hand, so very likely I'm not going to win the hand unless I'm trolling you. Yeah, welcome guys. I'm not in the best mood. I just busted the 5K main event.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Halfway through day 2, almost halfway through day 2, approaching the bubble. And it's not the way you want to bust, of course. Have been grinding a very solid stack day 1. Unfortunately, was not running so well on day 2. However, my bust out hand I found very interesting, and it's not so easy to analyze, so I decided I make a quick YouTube video and sharing my insights, since it is something that needs a little bit of time to set up, and I think it will be very beneficial for you guys. So let's jump right into the action. We are roughly 90 left at this point in time. We are somewhat 85th position with our 18 big blinds. So we were fighting hard, but didn't manage to build a stack. And hello Totti here.
Totti.
It's a 2, 4, 6, 8 8-handed table. And hello Totti, open raises from under the gun. Banikvlan or Banikvlan. Flats the cutoff, and we have a decision to make here. Folding is not an option. It would be either calling or shoving. And as you might already, based on the feeling that it's very close. DVs are very close. Calling is always is always good here, since we invest only 1.5 big blinds into a pot of 6.5 big blinds. We get incredibly good pot odds. We don't need to hit our set so often anymore in order to justify this call. Sometimes we will also win a pot without hitting a set. And yeah, so let's take a look into the line that I took here. Spoilers ahead, it's my bust out hand, so very likely I'm not going to win the hand unless I'm trolling you. Yeah, but I'm not going to show you the hand that he has. Of course, I always want to work with the assumptions I made in game. And here you can use IC Miser, you can use Hold'em Resource Calculator. It needs a little bit of time because you need to basically set up here a multi-table sit and go analysis with putting all the payouts, all the tables into the simulation. And that's what I did. We can skip that here. We don't need to do that together. I think since it's already approaching the bubble and Totti is one of the big stacks on the table, he's going to be opening a little bit on the loser side. I think 25% is fine. He is definitely a candidate that I would expect opening looser than he's supposed to, according from what I've seen. If you look YouTube replays, you'll get an idea on how about how he plays. And then for the cold caller, so here it gets a little bit dicey. He's in the cutoff. There's still 50 big blinds deep. I think he will be flatting all pocket pairs, a mix of 3-betting and flatting. King, queen off, ace jack off, also fine candidates to 3-bet. And I let him trap aces 25% of the time, which is actually quite a lot. He still has queens decent amount of the time. He almost has 100% jacks, 75%, 10s, 9s, 8s. All these calling hands are in his range as well, which I think make a lot of sense. And then 3-betting some suited aces, some of these jack 9s, king 10s, king 10. So he's actually 3-betting a lot of these hands that I think, given the situation, that they're both big stacks and pretty much safe in the money. I think that he will more likely, or in reality, have more of these hands that would of course benefit DV of my reshove. However, let's keep it a little bit pessimistic to make sure that we don't get a too optimistic result. And calling hands for Hello Totti, I think here for close to 20 big blinds, he's going to be calling 9s plus, ace queen plus. And the cold caller is, of course, he's calling aces. 8s plus, ace jack suited, I'm not really sure. Probably calling, most of the time. And if we look at DV, we see that with 6s, we make around 0.23. So now the question becomes, is this enough EV to justify a reshove here? All things considered, I would say I lean a little bit more towards yes. If someone says no, I can see reasons for not taking this jam. If we look at DV of calling, because we need something we can hold on to, something we can compare with. And if we look at the EV of calling, we see that the call has an EV of 0.28. So here the call outperforms shoving. However, the equity realization factors are not considered here. That means that since we are out of position, we're going to check fold way more often, where we're actually going to have the better hand, because we simply can't continue if the board is 10-9-4, under the gun C bets. And then we have to fold, and under the gun can have king, queen, queen, jack. These instances will happen way more often. In that case, we might only realize 70-80% of our equity. So I would guess our real EV is somewhere around 0.2. So a little bit less of the rejam. Also, as I already said, if it's a little bit more realistic, I think the cold caller is going to be flatting more of these hands here and not 3-betting those. And in that case means he's going to have more folds, which will benefit our EV as well. And also queens, aces might also be 3-betting more often than just flatting. Also ace, queen, 100% in the calling range. So the calling range is already very strong. I don't think it's going to be any stronger than that. So that means we already kind of have the worst possible EV for sixes for reshoving here, unless Totti also calls 8s or 7s. But I think, we can also let him call 8s. But the problem is, yes, he knows that I'm going to be reshoving 5s, 6s and better. But he also has one player left behind that can have jacks, queens. And then if it would just me reshoving against Totti, he would certainly be calling 7s and 8s. But since he has to risk his 60 big blinds and there's still one player left to act, he's risking 50 big blinds, he has to let go some of his 7s and 8s combos. At least that's what he's supposed to. If he, of course, starts calling also 8s, then my rejam starts getting worse and worse, of course. And then it's a situation that I definitely would want to avoid, and I don't want to take such a margin reshove, even though I have only 18 big blinds. But you can still see here that hands like king, queen suited, ace 10 suited, ace jack suited, even queen jack suited are very profitable reshoves, even much more profitable than these pairs, since we're going to be called by ace king a lot, by lower pocket pairs, and we're going to be in much better shape. Also, we block a lot of calling hands like queens, jacks, ace queen, ace jack, which is much more beneficial for the V of reshoving here. So if you're in that situation, 20 big blinds, even if you have an open raiser from MP, cold call calls, you can always reshove your jack 10s, queen jacks, queen 10s, king 10s, king jacks suited, and you can be on the safe side that these will be profitable. The ICM impact aren't that big here yet, because we're one of the shortest stack. We're still 20 away from the money. However, there is a little bit of an ICM impact. So all in all, a dicey situation, and again, I think calling is totally fine as well, and playing post flop. I decided here to go for the reshove. Unfortunately, I got trapped. It's not a good feeling, and this is something that will also happen. And then you have to analyze, you have to work on it, and then draw your conclusions. But luckily, it's not a big punt, or it's not a punt at all. It's a profitable reshove, all things considered. And now the question becomes, did we choose the most profitable line here? And if you have seen my previous video about top 3 mistakes or 3 reasons why you suck in poker, make sure to check it out, where I also talk about people being too tight in later stages of the tournament, and should not give you the permission to randomly punt around. but this is one of the spots here, reshoving from the small blind, also against 2 opponents. Keep in mind, yes, you will run into aces, you will run into kings, but they're also going to have a lot of king queen offs, king 10 suited, king jack suited that you're going to fold out. And even if they call ace king, ace queen, you're going to be flipping. Usually those hands are in the 3-betting range. Here we got owned. I personally don't like the call, especially against someone as aggressive as Totti. Playing straightforward here, having the chance to even double your full stack up and not just getting 20 big blinds from the blinds has a much higher EV. And if we have a hand like 10s, jacks, ace queen, we're gonna go with it anyway. If someone's 3-bets here, we have less than 20 big blinds, so he's not gonna lose money from these hands. Yes, sometimes he faces reshoves from 6s, 7s, 8s additionally here, but I think the amount of hands that Totti is going to be playing back or calling and then playing a much bigger pot guarantees a higher EV. But that's just my personal opinion. If someone has a question if I like the play here with aces or not, maybe he has reads, maybe he knows, but I'm not going to be totally out of line. I think 6s would be the bottom here. Let's see what's the EV of 5s. It's not such a big, but it gets worse and worse. But for me, 6s was the bottom here of hands that I would be reshoving here. Unfortunately, didn't go deeper. And I hope you guys enjoyed this format, and let me know what would you do in this situation, what hands would you be reshoving with, and then see you guys in the next video.